The Cheddar region is very rich in caves, and we know that people were living there in a number of the caves about close to 15,000 years ago. And this is some of the material we dug up in the late 1980s from our excavations there in really just a small area of the cave. Well, they're important because they represent people near the end of the last ice age in Britain, about 14,700 years ago. At this time, Britain was joined on to the continent of Europe. There was a large expanse of land where the North Sea is, called Doggerland. Across there was a land bridge. This gave a transit point between Northern Europe and Britain. So most of the time in the last 50,000 years, until the last 12,000 years when the English Channel started to be formed, people were able to transit across that region when the climate was okay, probably following herds of animals migrating into Britain. What we know of these people is that they were hunter-gatherers, so they were living off the land. They would have made certainly great use of animal resources because associated with them are stone tools, artifacts made of ivory and antler. We know that they were eating horse and reindeer, but they probably also used plant resources as well where these were available. And we've got evidence from this site at Cheddar that these people arrived really quite rapidly. And these people were really quite sophisticated. Probably they were better equipped to deal with things than people were maybe 250,000 or 500,000 years ago. So when we look at these people, they're really very close to us in their anatomy and their morphology. Their teeth are a bit bigger, but their jaws and their general skeleton are built rather like ours. So this implies that they weren't having to use a great deal of strength to get their food. From sites in Europe, where we've got material of this age as well, they painted caves, they carved and decorated bones, they probably had sewn clothing because there are bone needles known. And of course there were the caves themselves, which provided shelter. People did obviously at times camp out in the open, but when they could get good caves, they often preferred to use them. For a short period of time at least, we had a significant human presence in Goff's Cave at Cheddar. They were obviously clever, they had good technology, and they knew what they were doing.